Let's look at what the, I'm going to call him the General because that's how he's referred to in the papers. Let's look at what the General does later that evening. Can we go to page 176? Same bundle. So at 176, the last text on the page is a screenshot that Sergeant Nkosi sends you so at 8:31 p.m. and it's a screenshot that on its face comes from a message that the General sent to him at 8:02 that day. And it's a table that has tender number TMPD1, and then it's got a list of 7 companies on it. And at the bottom it says, Captain, nai mandate u Victor apiwe yona from US. And helpfully underneath it, the Sergeant Nkosi has said, companies given to Victor by Nico. So, number of questions. We've established that US is the General. Mm-hmm. So this comes from the General. And the message says, Captain, this is the mandate that Victor received. Victor was given to Victor. Is that correct?
In terms of this message, yes, that's correct, Jesse.
Sorry?
You saying what must I confirm?
Look at the foot of that message. Yes. Captain, nai mandate u Victor apiwe yona.
Yes.
This is a mandate given to Victor.
Yes.
A mandate.
Yes.
In other words, something that Victor must act on.
This looks like it, yes, Jesse.
Yes, and we see below that the mandate was given by someone called Nico.
Yes.
So let's identify the players. Who is Victor?
Victor is a chairperson of this evaluation committee.
Victor Khopa.
Yes, that's him.
He is the chairperson of the BEC, and he's been given a mandate.
Of BEC, yes.
Yes. 7 companies.
Yes.
How did you understand this message?
I ignored this message.
No, that wasn't my question. How did you understand it?
I read the message. It said, Captain, nai mandate u Victor apiwe yona. That's how I understood it.
So Victor has been given a mandate.
Yes.
In relation to 7 companies and this tender.
Yes.
How I understand it is Victor has been given a mandate to make sure that these 7 companies get the tender.
Yes.
Is that how you understood it?
Well, I'm not going to comment on what that is, because I can assure you now, I didn't even entertain this thing.
No, I accept that you didn't entertain it, but I want to understand, I want to know how you understood it.
This could have meant a number of things. It could have meant Victor must make sure companies are awarded, which he can't because he sits with committee of individuals. Secondly, it could have meant that Victor must check compliance. So it's difficult for me to give you an answer, Chair. I did not entertain this message from my perspective.
Sorry, Mr. Mnisi, the question is about how you understood it. It's not about several possibilities. How did you understand it? That's the question.
Yes, Commissioner, and my answer is I understood it within those probabilities, that it could mean a number of things. I didn't know what it meant, but it could mean those 2 probabilities. But I can't come to the Commission and expressly say, I understood this have meant that.
So as you read it,
I had options in my mind that this is what...
As you read it, you understood it possibly to mean one of those possibilities.
Yes.
Who is Nico?
I don't know who's Nico.
Sergeant Nkosi confirmed that Nico was Nico Matobela. Okay. Do you know Nico Matobela?
No, I don't know Nico
You've never had any dealings with Nico Matobela?
I've never met him. I don't know him. I've never had any dealings with him, SC.
Was there anyone called Nico Matobela who had any role to play in the award of this tender? Official role?
No, I'm not aware of any official by the name of Nico Matobela.
And you've said in relation to the message that you understood it to be capable of 2 meanings. One, Victor had been given a mandate to appoint these 7, and 2, Victor had been given a mandate to check compliance on these 7.
Yes.
Would either of those mandates given to Victor be lawful?
No, he can't. There's no way he could check compliance. Firstly, tender is closed. He could only, by law, give clarification on the outcomes of the bid. So that's no from a compliance perspective. Secondly, it's also no. He's not allowed to get names from external individuals to appoint.
Did you raise this with Victor?
No, Chair, I didn't raise everything.
Why not?
Because my job was to ensure that I strengthen the process and ensure that there's no glitch within the award of TMPT 01. For me, this was a matter that I need to look out for and ensure that the process is even stringent.
Well, here you have the chair of the BEC, who you are being told has been given a mandate either to appoint 7 companies or to check compliance with 7 companies at a stage when it would not have been lawful to do so. Did you not think that it was appropriate to raise with Mr. Khopa whether this report of his mandate was true?
You see, firstly, Chair, me raising this with him would now have an element of me trying to find out what's going on within the BEC. Once I'm aware of such information, my role is to strengthen that process, and amongst others is to ensure that probity assessments that are done are completed accordingly and that all information that is assessed, validated, is true and correct. It does give me a warning to be vigilant and to ensure that we strengthen this process, which is exactly what was done by referring the matter to probity for further assessments.
So although on its face, the message suggested at least a real possibility that Victor had been given a mandate to rig this tender, you didn't see fit to take this further in any city processes?
No, I did see to take it further. And me taking it further was insisting on probity to occur without fail.
But probity would have occurred come what may. This tender was above 20 million. You didn't have to play any role there.
No. Chair, remember, not all matters, even if it's after 20 million, are automatically taken by probity team. Me was to emphasize there are reprioritizations that occur all the time. So it was essential for me to ensure that that probity assessment is not deviated at all costs.
But probity would not have picked up external attempts to interfere in the process. For example, and this is from your explanation of probity, of the probity process. Probity would not have picked up, for example, that Mr. Mnisi has been approached to do something, the WhatsApp that we looked at. Probity would not pick up that Sergeant Nkosi asked you to confirm compliance, and later on you suspect, in fact, he wanted you to influence the tender. Probity would not have picked up this mandate to Victor. So the answer can't be that, well, I insisted on probity and so all was covered. If the question is, what did you do? You are the CFO with some responsibility, yes, together with the city manager for your procurement processes, the integrity of your procurement processes. And when you are asked, you become aware that there are these attempts, including people being given mandates, allegations that people have been given mandates. If you're asked the question, why did you not do did you do anything about it? The answer can't lie in probity, because probity looks, you said to us, I think on Friday, probity looks at all the tender documents, all the documents that were submitted, and then they make a determination whether the process was fair. So the answer must be something else, can't be probity.
Chair, that's the relevant answer. You know why I'm saying that? Because it would be in a position to check whether all compliance, administrative, mandatory, and all stages of procurement are followed to the T. Matters of this nature, from my perspective at this stage, I just need to be vigilant and be wary of them. So the process of probity is essential because it validates whether there's been any breach within the steps. Also, what's key, Chair, is that within the segregation of duties, before documents are transferred from point A to point B, they're always under lock and safe, and there's always individuals who are there signing off on handing over documents. So what would occur within that process would be something that would express for probity to ensure that this portfolio of evidence on what happened within that process.
Could probity have picked up that Sergeant Nkosi tried to influence you to do something about his brother's tender? Is that something that probity outside of the tender documents that were submitted, just from your communication with Sergeant Nkosi, could the probity process have picked it up?
The answer is no to that.
Yes.
But can I please explain?
You can.
Probity would have picked up whether there was an actual tamper of those documents, whether there was actual influence. They would not have picked up an attempt. An attempt, it's not easy for them to pick up. But an actual tamper, it's easy for them to pick up. They utilize a number of specialized audit tools in assessing documents, how they are compiled, whether there's been exchange of documents. That's the process that they follow.
Yes, and the question was, and if it wasn't Mr. Chaskalson's question, then it's my question. It is, you become aware because you are directly approached to assist a tender, right? A particular tender or bidder. You become aware that your deputy mayor has been approached to assist. And for that matter, he says in a meeting, he says, I was in a meeting, so it's parties that are represented in the municipality that he says, I had a meeting with, and this is what they said. You become aware of that. You become aware that General Dlamini is involved with distributing lists of companies that are supposed to be favored, whether at the BEC level. You become aware that the chairperson of the BEC has been given mandates, at least that allegation. My question is, CFO, why do you do nothing about it? Not probity. Don't say to me, I know probity will pick it up. I'm asking you, CFO, because you and the city manager do have responsibility for the integrity of your procurement processes, the SCM, the whole process. You have responsibility for and accountability for it. Do you do anything about those attempts at external influence, influence? And if you don't, what is the reason for that?
Okay. So at this stage...
And I want to add the involvement of Sergeant Nkosi as well. You have a complete outsider who is involved in this, who has a personal relationship with you. You do absolutely nothing to discourage his involvement in affecting the tender or the procurement processes of the city. Can you just explain that?
So at this point, Chair, for me to raise anything further, I need to have evidence of gratification, inducement, or an acceptance by other party. That indeed, you do this for me, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the sufficient appropriate evidence that I need to have at my disposal before I can even escalate a matter for further engagement. Because at that point in time, I would have had evidence that there is interest, and there's always interest in these matters. I would also have evidence that there's been an agreement, and there's a form of gratification and inducement that has been advanced by any other parties. So without that, at this point in time, my role is to strengthen the processes and to ensure that everything is followed to the T, and that property is aware of ensuring that all matters of the stages of procurement are adhered to. So the reason I don't do that, there's no evidence of inducement, nor is there any evidence of gratification. It would render my case a case of strengthen your controls. Even if I were to raise that, it would be, you need to ensure that the processes are stringent and strengthened at this stage in time. We don't have sufficient evidence to really take the matter forward.
Thank you.
Chair, we've reached 1:05. I have a long way to go on this topic.